Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you from Lagos. A reminder of our major stories tonight. 1,000 days after the abduction of the Chibok girls, an attack by suspected herdsmen on 3 communities in Adamawa State leaves several people dead, including 3 policemen. Founder of the Lateran Assembly, Pastor Tunde Bakare, calls for replacement of the 36-state structure with the 6 geopolitical zones. 1,000 days after the abduction of Chibok girls, the Bring Back Our Girls group demands a greater action towards securing the release of the remaining girls. And Iran's ex-president Ali Akbar Rafsanjani, a dominant figure in the country's politics since the 1980s, dies at the age of 82. A reminder here that more on our top stories can be found on our website, channelstv.com and youtube.com/channelsweb. You can also watch us on the go on your mobile device. Log on to m.channelstv.com or download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows phones from their respective stores. Having the Channels TV and Channels 24 app will give you access to news and updates. You have the Eyewitness feature, so you too can be part of the news. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu and follow the instructions to share those pictures, videos, or news of happenings around you. Let's take a look at some of the pictures that you sent to the Eyewitness portal. We begin with this one. It shows young men hanging on dangerously to these commercial buses along the Lekki-Ajah Expressway. Our Eyewitness reporter wants relevant authorities to end such acts. Our next photo was sent in from Otupo Igumale Road, close to Makodi in Benue State. It shows the impact of erosion on this area. Our Eyewitness reporter calls on the government to intervene and end its spread. This photo shows the aftermath of a road accident involving a vehicle and a truck along the Mowe of Fada Road in Ogun State. Our Eyewitness reporter calls on motorists to adhere to speed limits. Finally, this similar photo sent from Rally at Bankole Crescent in Osogbo, the Osun State capital. We see a vehicle which turned over. Our Eyewitness reporter says the driver lost control while approaching a T-junction. We continue our focus on security. 5th Operational Command has been established by the Nigerian Air Force to address the challenges of insecurity in the country. Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, says the operational base, which will serve as the Special Operations Unit, has a quick response group located in Zamfara, Imo State and Osun States.
When it happens, when you are really flying, you can be able...
Senior officers of the Nigerian Air Force at an event to appraise the activities of the Air Force in the year 2016.
All trying to see that nobody...
The Chief of Air Staff sets the ball rolling by announcing the establishment of a Special Operations Command to bring the number of commands in the Air Force to 5.
We see the need for it. After analyzing the threats emerging, you begin to realize that the 4 commands we have are no longer adequate, and we have established the 5th command with the support of the federal government.
In addition to that, he also announced the upgrading of the Medical Directorate to the status of a full branch of the Nigerian Air Force.
We also have a medical branch now. It used to be a directorate, but today it's a branch because we see that we are expanding. We are recruiting more recruits into the service. By end of this year, we should have at least an additional 5,000 recruits.
Apart from acquiring the most sophisticated helicopter gunship in the world, the immediate task of the Air Force is to continue with the aerial surveillance in the northeast to ensure that the Boko Haram insurgents do not regroup to occupy any part of Nigeria.
The overall objective is to improve capabilities, methodologies, and refine processes with a view to ensuring effectiveness and efficiency in the application of air power. For effective air patrol of the wide expanse of Nigerian borders, especially in the northeast, plans have been concluded to establish more forward operating bases as staging posts to provide technical support and increase the radius of action of Nigerian Air Force assets.
As the new year begins, it provides the Nigerian Air Force the opportunity to continue to perform its constitutional duties in the defense of Nigeria's territorial integrity. Amaka Okafo, Channels Television News.
The Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, has applauded the military for its victory in the fight against Boko Haram. Professor Osinbajo, who likened the victory over the insurgents to the prevalence of good over evil, sued for greater unity and peace in the nation. He was speaking during a Thanksgiving service to mark the 2017 Armed Forces Remembrance Day in Abuja. Our correspondent, Gloria Omezuki, reports.
A Thanksgiving service to mark the 2017 Armed Forces Remembrance Day, attended by the Vice President and other government officials. A hymn of hope to herald the sermon which dwelt on straightening grey areas in the country, warring against a central belief in the nation's unity.
The soldiers must be faithful, the teachers must be faithful, the clergy must be faithful, those in government houses must be faithful, the artisans must be faithful, university lecturers must be faithful. Government should ask, why are these people behaving the way they are behaving? Let me tell the military that those boys that are doing this, they didn't fight the war. But most of their parents died in the war front. Most of their parents were Biafran soldiers, and their mothers told them what happened to their father. So the best way is not to start killing them all.
The clergy also made a special appeal to the insurgents.
And we need to also tell our boys to sheath their swords.
The Vice President warned Nigerians not to be deceived, but celebrate the victory of good over evil.
Is evidence of the ascendancy of good over evil. Our men and women of the armed forces have in the past few years battled an ideology that supports the killing of children on their beds, the rape and abduction of women and young girls. Secondly, as we remember our departed military heroes, we also celebrate that attribute of brotherhood and unity that the military has demonstrated in the history of the country.
Justice and equity for all is the answer provided here for the big question on sustenance of the nation's unity, economic prosperity, and democratic rule. Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
Today marks 1,000 days since 276 girls were abducted by Boko Haram militants from government secondary school in Chibok, Borno State. While Nigerians applaud the release of some of the girls, the Bring Back Our Girls campaigners are asking the president to move faster so that the remaining girls can be rescued alive. The group embarked on a march from the Unity Fountain to the 3-arm zone in Abuja. Our correspondent Linda Kigbe reports.
On the 14th of April 2014, Boko Haram insurgents abducted 276 schoolgirls from a government secondary school in Chibok, Borno State. The ease with which the Boko Haram insurgents abducted the girls shocked the nation. In the face of the slowness of the then Jonathan administration to respond to the situation, or at least inform Nigerians about the exact number of the girls abducted, activists and civil society leaders harnessed the outrage, and the Bring Back Our Girls movement was formed. For the last 984 days, the Bring Back Our Girls group has been meeting at this exact spot to agitate for the rescue of the Chibok girls.
All we are saying, bring back our girls.
It's the 1,000th day since the Chibok girls were abducted, and the group sets out on a march on the streets of Abuja to commemorate the day.
Solidarity forever. We shall always fight for our girls.
They are flanked on all sides by an unusually high number of security personnel. Undeterred, they march on.
Mr. President!
Members of the Bring Back Our Girls group have arrived to the 3am zone in Abuja and about to enter into the road that leads into the presidential villa. But they cannot get beyond this point as security officials, arms linked together, have formed a human barricade to prevent the group from getting access into the presidential villa. It becomes obvious to the group that they can get no further. They, however, insist that they had no plans to get to the presidential villa in the first place.
We don't want a meeting in the villa. We're not asking for a meeting in the villa.
Members of the group tells Channels Television that they are alarmed that despite the capture of Sambisa Forest by the military, the girls are nowhere to be found.
What's going on? We were once told that these girls were kept in a bunker in Sambisa Forest. And now these bunkers have been cleared and not one arrest was made in the process. Not any arrest of any member of the Boko Haram and no rescue of any of our Chibok girls.
Before they disperse, members of the group paste pictures of the Chibok girls on the bridge in front of the presidential villa, perhaps a reminder to passers-by that 195 schoolgirls are yet to be rescued from the abductors. Linda Akibi, Channels Television News.
To review 1,000 days since the abduction of the Chibok girls, I'm being joined on the news at 10 now by co-convener of the Bring Back Our Girls campaign, Aisha Yusuf. She joins us from our studios in Abuja. Aisha, it's good to have you on the news at 10 tonight. Thank you for joining us. We do understand, the emotions. Well, thank you. We don't understand the emotions going through most of the Bring Back Our Girls campaigners at this time. We did see that protest you conducted close to the presidential villa. It's been 1,000 days since these girls have been seen, since they have been abducted. What else is going through your minds, even as you remember that these girls have been in captivity for about 1,000 days?
Well, thank you for having me. 1,000 days that our Chibok girls have been abducted. And the most frightening thing going around our minds is the fact that we can't wait another 1,000 days without our girls brought back home. And that's the reason why we insist that the government, the President Muhammadu Buhari, must put all in place and ensure that each and every one of our 195 Chibok girls are accounted for. Where are the 83 that the government told us that they were negotiating for in October, and they said they will come out soon? And so that fear is there. We cannot afford to allow our daughters that we send to school to get education, that dare to be educated, to be with terrorists for 1,000 days. As long as there's a Chibok girl in captivity, as long as there's any Nigerian in captivity, we all are in captivity. So for us, the fear is for the government to feel that, 21 have been rescued, and that is it, to get into this sense of complacency and just move on as if there's no urgency to bring back our daughters. There is an urgency, because for every of our Chibok girls brought back, when 195 of our Chibok girls can't be accounted for, it will tell Nigerians that the government has gotten our back and that we can trust our nation, that if anything should ever happen to us, the government will be there for us. It will make us as citizens more patriotic to the nation. So we have to bring back our Chibok girls. And one thing that we all need to understand is the fact that it is not a privilege for Chibok girls to be rescued. It is their right as enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And we will come out every day, as we have for 985 days, to demand for their rescue. We are not doing them a favor. We are only doing that which is right. The primary responsibility of government is the protection of lives and property. In Chibok girls, it failed. The next best was to rescue them immediately. And today, 1,000 days, they are still waiting.
And the military, despite taking over that last portion of the Sambisa forest, has not found any of the girls in captivity. Neither do they find Boko Haram members hiding there in the Sambisa forest. What do you think the government should do now? Because you're asking for more action on the part of the government to make sure that these girls are rescued. What else do you want the government to do?
First of all, key in what the government should do, there should be a lot of intelligence gathering. The last girl, Mariam, that was found, she was found wandering. She had walked for over 15 days and she was found. So how many of our girls do we have displaced all over the place? Mariam said that she got into the forest. It was a hunter that showed her the way, that showed her the way out to get into town. So let's do a lot of intelligence gathering. Let the government go around and find out what is happening. Let it build a social contract where the citizens will trust the government, and then we can all share information and work for the betterment of this nation. This is the only country that we have, and we have to insist and we have to work towards it. And at the same time, let them on the negotiation table get to it, get it out. It's not something that will be done on the basis of, oh, when it's okay, we do it. No, the government has to be consistent, have to be work hard to it, have to ensure that our Chibokers and all other abductees are brought back home. And most importantly, the government should not see citizens who are demanding for the rescue of Chibokers as enemies of the state. No, they are not. They are only telling the government that they have their trust in the ability of the government to do the right thing. As a movement, the Bring Back Our Girls movement, we have always known that the Nigerian government can. And so we have always demanded from the government. At this time, there is a need for all to be put in place. It's quite worrisome when you say that when we got to Camp Zero, the terrorists were no longer there and there were nobody there. Then you begin to wonder, where have they been into? Where are they now? There's a need for us to invest in intelligence gathering, like I said earlier, and also forensic investigation, and gain the trust of the people for them to know that, look, we do not have any other country. We all have to work together and ensure that we get the right thing. 1,000 days in captivity. When we tell the girl child to dare to be educated, she knows it's all a lie, because her sisters who did the same thing have been in captivity for 1,000 days.
Aisha, we do understand your passion, and the rest of the country, of course, feels the pulse, of where the Bring Back Our Girls campaign is coming from. We do wish that the government does all it can to make sure that those girls are rescued. Thank you once again for joining us on the News at 10. I'll be speaking with the co-convener of the Bring Back Our Girls campaign, Aisha Yusufu. When the News at 10 returns, in continuation of our assessment of the year 2016, tonight our focus is on sports. Please join us again.